Hello everyone, Hannah Boy reporting for duty. Welcome to today's video, which if you haven't already guessed from the title and my totally on-theme setup, is about the rather controversial topic of BTS and their military enlistment. I've been slowly working on this video for a while, but as my parents quite wisely said, I should probably upload this video before they go to the military, if they go. Should BTS serve in the Korean army? On the surface, you could quite easily misjudge it as a rather simple issue, but it's not. Trust me. When I first started this video, I pretty firmly believed that BTS shouldn't have to go to the military, but after lots of researching and some deep intellectual pondering, I now think that... Oh no. Remember when I said it's not that simple? Allow me to take you on a journey through time and space. Just kidding. Let me take you on a journey through the intricacies and complexities of the Korean military, conscription, aisles in the army, and why this is bigger than BTS. I've put timestamps in the description box below, so please check that out if you're looking for anything in particular, but I would like to implore you lovely folks to please watch the entire video before sending me hate mail. And please also remember that I am an army and I do love BTS. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I will be hosting a giveaway of this adorable RJ plushie in honor of Jin's impending enlistment. Yes, I did have this idea last year when I thought that Jin was going to the army this year, but you know what, I'm gonna keep it in because we all love a good giveaway, right? All the information and rules regarding the giveaway will be stated at the end of the video, so please make sure to pay attention to them so that you could have a chance of winning the most charismatic plushie you've ever seen. Now onto the video, starting with a brief history of South Korean mandatory military service. Hello everyone and welcome to the first lecture of the term in which we will take a look at South Korean mandatory military service. You're probably aware of the fact that the Korean peninsula is divided into North and South Korea at the 30th parallel. You may also be aware of the fact that North Korea and South Korea are technically still at war with each other. The Korean War started in 1950 and ended in 1953 when North Korea, China and the United States signed an armistice agreement. South Korea, however, objected to the continued division of the peninsula and therefore did not sign the armistice or any formal peace treaty. So while the fighting ended, technically the war never did. Following the end of the Korean War, there have been numerous attempts by North Korea to infiltrate South Korea and assume power. One of the most famous incidents was the Blue House raid in 1968, in which North Korean Special Unit 124 slipped across the DMZ intending to assassinate then-President Park Chung-hee. While eventually the Palace Guard and the South Korean and US military were able to intercept the attack, there were numerous casualties, including civilians. And this isn't the only time that North Korea has attempted to invade South Korea, however, luckily, each time they were intercepted. If you're interested in learning more about this, I highly recommend looking up the third tunnel of aggression. One of the biggest issues today is North Korea's nuclear missile program. A recent UN report revealed that in 2020, North Korea upgraded its nuclear missile program, which is in direct violation of international sanctions. So you can see why South Korea would want to have an active and strong military, which is therefore why they have mandatory military service or conscription. Since 1957, South Korean men have been required to serve in the military for a period of 2 years once they turn 18. They can defer until the age of 28, however most men typically choose to complete a year or two of university before starting their military service. Exemption is only granted for injury or certain medical conditions, whether physical or mental. However, it can be very difficult to find a job for those who haven't completed their military service. So how do South Korean men feel about conscription?
보통 20대 초반에 가는데 정말 파릇파릇한 젊은 나이에 내가 2년이라는 시간을 뺏겨야 되나 이런 게 정말 싫었는데 근데 어쩔 수 없이 가게 된 것 같아요. 왜냐면 너도 나도 가고 누구나 남자라면 누구나 가야 되는 거 그리고 어쩔 수 없이 한국에 태어났고 그래서 가야 되는 거라서 근데 그런 과정을 외국인들한테 설명을 하자면 저는 되게 그냥 어쩔 수 없이 그냥 갔다. 가고 싶은 사람은 없는 거니까. 네, 약간 그런 식으로 설명을 할 것 같습니다.
대부분 군대를 20대 초반에 가지 않습니까? 그 청춘을 군대라는 한정된 곳에서 자유롭게 나오지도 못하고
또 상당히 그냥 많은 사람들이 이제 뭐 많이 힘들었던 경험을 말씀하시니까 안 간 사람 입장으로서는 좀 많이 두렵고 걱정되기도 하고 그 시간이 약간 아깝기도 하고 그렇죠.
Most Korean men I know feel similarly. Friends of mine who have gone have told me how much they didn't enjoy it, and friends of mine who haven't gone yet dread it. So while a lot of people know that Korean men are required to serve in the military, whether through friends or because of Korean celebrities, not a lot of people know why South Korea has conscription in the first place. Despite the fact that a number of countries were involved in the Korean War, including but not limited to the United States, China, Russia, and of course North and South Korea, the Korean War remains largely forgotten. So how much did you know about the Korean War and South Korean conscription? Make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know how much you knew and why. Also, make sure to study this because it will be on the final exam. That's all for today, class. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. So now that we have a better understanding of South Korean conscription, let's take a look at idols/celebrities and conscription. While most idols and celebrities go with minimal fuss, there have been a few instances in which this was not the case. One of the most famous, or perhaps infamous cases, is that of Steve Yu, also known as Seung-jun. DKDK-TV have a really great video on how he went from #1 K-pop idol to the most hated person, which I highly recommend watching because it's fascinating, but I will give you a quick overview here before you go and watch that video after this video. Please stay. In short, Steve Yu is a Korean-American singer who debuted in South Korea in 1997 and became extremely popular. However, his singing career ended in 2002 when, contrary to his repeated affirmations on television that he would fulfill his mandatory military service, he became a naturalized US citizen in 2002 just before he was to be drafted. He was actually banned from South Korea after this, and he is now the only person in history to be banned from South Korea for acquiring another citizenship. Korea's Military Manpower Administration, or the MMA, viewed his US naturalization in 2002 as a deliberate attempt to evade compulsory military duty and therefore banned him from entering South Korea. To this day, he's still banned from entering South Korea despite launching a second legal battle in 2020 in an attempt to be allowed back into the country. And this second legal battle is expected to last over 2 years. But even if the courts did rule in his favour, it seems that public opinion of him is still pretty negative. In July, just 5 days after the Supreme Court sent the case back to the appeals court for a review, an online petition against his return at the Blue House website garnered more than 200,000 signatures, prompting the top office to respond. So as you can see, he's really not that popular. Another celebrity who evaded military service is MC Mong, real name Shin Dong-hyun. If you're unfamiliar with him, he is a Korean hip-hop artist, record producer, radio personality, actor, and television personality who's known for his comic disposition and his upbeat songs. While he was hugely popular for his hits Ice Cream in 2006 and Circus in 2008, he fell out of public favor when it appeared that he had pulled out his own teeth to avoid military conscription. Although the Supreme Court ruled in 2012 that he was innocent of deliberately removing his teeth to avoid military conscription, he was still sentenced to 6 months in prison for using other tactics to delay his military service. He was scorned for his actions, and much of the public still remains upset with him to this day. However, there has long been frustration and anger at draft dodgers, especially considering that they're usually people with either wealth, status, or connections.
돈 많은 사람은 안 가고 이제 돈이 없는 사람은 가고, 이거 자체가 일단 불평등한 구조고.
고위 관직자들의 자녀들이나 약간 돈이 많다고 하는 사람들의 자녀들이 군대를 안 가기 위해 그런 수법을 쓰는 게 뉴스에 종종 나오면서 사회 문제시 되고 있는 상황입니다.
그런 사람들이 기피한 거 보면 저 같은 일반적인 서민의 입장에서는 좀 뭐랄까 사회적인 박탈감이 들죠.
In 2013, the BBC covered a report conducted by the Chosun-ilbo which suggested that young men from richer, more educated families are more likely to avoid active military service. At this point though, I feel like it is important to emphasize the fact that most idols and celebrities go to the army with little to no fuss. Some of your favourites may have already been to the army, especially if you're a fan of second generation and early third generation groups like I am. 동방신기, Super Junior, Big Bang. Oh, would you look at that? I forgot to include a picture of Seung-mi because he's trash. But back to my main point, which is that most idols do complete their military service. Even EXO, who you could consider is the closest group to BTS in terms of fame and popularity, has 1 member who's already completed his service and 3 members who are in the army now. Let me know in the comments below if your favorite idol or celebrity has already served in the military. I'm kind of curious to see how many early K-pop group fans there are out there. Please come and join me. So what about BTS? While BTS have gained huge popularity and been congratulated for their success both domestically and internationally, it still seems to be quite a divisive issue.
빌보드가 물론 대단한 업적이긴 하지만 결국에는 빅히트 엔터테인먼트의 상품이잖아요. 방탄소년단은 그 상품이 그냥 뭐 인기를 끌어서 1등을 했다 이런 정도로 상업적으로만 해석을 하면은 솔직히 그걸로 경력 혜택을 주는 게 과연 맞는가?
BTS가 이제 주어지게 된다면은 병역의 혜택이 주어지게 된다면은 그 기준들이 좀 이렇게 좀 조금만 더 명확해지면 좋을 것 같아요. 그러니까 어떤 수치상으로 딱 보여졌을 때 모두가 조금 더 이제 합리적으로 그래 그 정도면 됐겠다라는 게 있어야 될 것 같은데.
A lot of the people interviewed by Asian Boss mention criteria and the fact that there is criteria for classical artists and athletes but not one for pop stars. The fact that there is no specific set of rules or criteria seems to be a large part of why it's so difficult to decide whether or not BTS would qualify for exemption. It also leads to the question of whether other singers would also qualify for exemption. When it comes to BTS, they have consistently said that they will serve in the army. As you may know, Jin is the oldest member of BTS and he turns 28 this year, which means, or used to mean, that he would have to enlist by the end of this year. In two separate press conferences last year, he was asked about it. First in February.
아직 결정된 것이 없습니다. 그리고 사실 말씀드리기가 굉장히 조심스러운데요. 병역은 당연한 의무라고 생각을 하고 있고 나라의 부름이 있으면 언제든지 응할 예정입니다. 그리고 항상 뭐 만약에 결정되더라도 정말 좋은 모습을 보여드리기 위해 노력하고 있습니다.
And then again in November.
언제든지 응하겠습니다. 시기가 된다면 부름이 있으면 언제나 응할 예정이고 멤버들과도 자주 얘기하는데 병역에는 모두 응할 예정입니다.
So both times he made it really clear that both he and his bandmates intend to serve in the army. So let's say that BTS serves in the army like they say that they intend to. What would it look like? I think one of the biggest questions, aside from whether or not they'll actually go, is whether or not they'd all go at once or if they would stagger it. If they all went at once, it would only be 2 years of absence, but Jeong-guk isn't required to serve for quite a few more years. But if they staggered it and either went one by one or age group by age group, it could be quite a while before we ever get to see BTS together again. There's been a lot of speculation on this, and actually the Asian Theory has a really cool video on this. I really recommend checking it out. There's a really cool timeline and they go through all the different groups and combinations in which the members could enlist, so definitely check that out after this video. So BTS have said they'll go. However, in December of last year, the Korean government passed a bill allowing members of certain pop groups to postpone enlistment until the age of 30. As you know, it used to be 28, the exact age that Jin is turning this year. In 2019, Forbes reported that BTS produced a whopping $4.65 billion of gross domestic product. Following that, in October 2020, BTS topped the Billboard chart with Dynamite and brought Korea an estimated 1.7 trillion won, or $1.5 billion worth of economic effect, bringing the total for this year to 6 trillion won. And that number is estimated to hit 60 trillion won over a decade. A lot of money. In response to this, during a leadership meeting on October 5th, Representative No Woong-ne, a member of the Supreme Council of the ruling Democratic Party, brought up BTS and its record-breaking #1 ranking on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart on October 2nd, and he floated the possibility of offering BTS an alternative to their required military service as a thank you for their massive economic and cultural impact. Following this, in November 2020, BTS became the first K-pop group to ever receive a Grammy Award nomination. Woo! You guys, let's just take a moment to congratulate Suga for speaking it into existence. BTS are also currently ambassadors for the KTO, or the Korean Tourism Organization, and have taken part in multiple campaigns, a recent one being the See You in Seoul campaign for the Seoul Tourism Organization. They even dedicated an entire episode of Run BTS, their weekly variety show, to raising awareness of K-ham, which is a new product created in an effort to reduce the drop in the domestic consumption of pork due to COVID-19 and support local farmers. So while yes, BTS is a part of Big Hit Entertainment, and as one Asian Boss interviewee put it rather coldly, they're a product of Big Hit Entertainment and therefore don't exist to serve the Korean nation, it's undeniable that BTS has huge influence when it comes to the economical, cultural and political landscape in Korea and abroad. So considering how public favour turned against idols who didn't complete military service, while also taking into account how much BTS contributes to South Korea, I'd like to ask you two questions now. Firstly, how do you think people would react if BTS didn't go to the army? And secondly, what do you think? Do you think that BTS should go to the army? I would really love to hear your thoughts before I share mine. Remember earlier in the video when we looked at how much South Korean men don't typically enjoy their military service? Unfortunately, like a lot of countries, the South Korean military has its fair share of incidents of bullying, harassment and suicides. There have been a few cases over the years that are truly horrific and very upsetting, so I don't really want to go into them, but I feel like it's important to get a sense of how bad it can be and what sort of things can go on in an environment like that. Now this is where BTS comes in. BTS are very well known for being advocates of equality and are huge philanthropists. Nearly all of the members have donated individually to charities of their choosing, and as a group they've spoken at the UN, joined with UNICEF in an anti-violence campaign and publicly and monetarily supported BLM. So they're definitely not quiet when it comes to things that they believe in, and the things that they believe in tend to be really wonderful things. With the spotlight on BTS and their military service, I think that they could use it as an opportunity to address the problems in the South Korean military through the use of soft power, which they've proven to possess multiple times. It's no secret that BTS managed to inspire people to do good, and one example of this is how ARMY matched BTS's BLM donation and how they constantly highlight and echo BTS's good deeds. BTS could act as ambassadors for the Korean military, considering that they already act in that capacity for Korean tourism and are affiliated with the Korean government. As one Asian Boss interviewee quite wisely said,
저는 그 징병제를 좀 줄이고 그 모병제를 좀 확충해가지고 차라리 전문적인 군인을 오랫도록 양성하는 게, 왜냐면은 그 전문적으로 군 생활을 하는 사람하고 어중이 떠중이 한 2년씩 이렇게 그냥 그 왔다 갔다 하는 그런 군대하고 사실 전력 차이를 따지고 보면 전 전자 쪽이 더 낫다고 생각을 하거든요.
So BTS could work with the Korean military to improve recruitment. They could have campaigns, they could hold concerts, they could generally bring awareness to the Korean military and encourage people to sign up to have a career in the military. Please appreciate my very shoddy attempt at a concert poster for a BTS military concert. As you may have guessed, Photoshop is not my forte. I think the best thing that BTS could do would be to utilize their time in the military, however long or short, to improve the quality of life there and encourage people to consider joining the military voluntarily. As another Asian Boss interviewee said, it doesn't really make that much difference to national security whether or not the 7 members of BTS serve, so why not have them do something worthwhile? Like I mentioned earlier, the government could work with BTS to create campaigns aimed at improving the quality of life and experiences that both career soldiers and men who are just serving their mandatory service have, while simultaneously encouraging both men and women to sign up voluntarily. Whether or not they serve for the full time or a shorter period, I think that it could really benefit the image of the Korean military and hopefully, most importantly, improve the quality of life and treatment that soldiers receive during their time there. Of course, this puts huge responsibility on BTS, and while they have in the past supported very political causes like BLM, the responsibility of reforming the South Korean military shouldn't fall on their shoulders. But with their fame, platform, unique position, and genuinely good hearts, I think that this could be an amazing thing for them to do. I think that it would be good for them to serve in some capacity, so why not make it count? In conclusion, in my personal opinion, as someone who is very clearly not a South Korean man, just a disclaimer in case you were unsure, I can understand both sides of the argument on whether or not BTS should serve. And ultimately, the choice will be made by BTS and the South Korean government. I just think that it could be an incredible opportunity for everyone involved. To be honest, BTS have paved the way in so many ways already that I'm just no longer surprised by all the amazing things that they do. So here we are, that's the end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I've always wanted to say that. Now I would love to hear your thoughts. Genuinely, I'm so curious to know what you guys think. Please let me know what you think of my radical, social justice inspired idea, and let me know, do you think that BTS should go to the army? Also let me know if I changed your opinion or if I cemented your original opinion, or if you just think I'm wrong. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And now for the final part of the video, the part you've all been waiting for and perhaps some of you just skipped to. If you did, hi, please do watch the whole video. I'd very much appreciate it. But either way, hello, welcome to the giveaway. Here are the rules and all the information you need. If you would like to be in with a chance of winning this adorable, charming, charismatic RJ plushie, all you need to do is subscribe to this channel and leave me a comment below telling me what your favorite thing about BTS is. Since this is kind of a heavy video, I thought it'd be nice to finish up by sharing some BTS love. The giveaway will be open until insert date here, and it will be open worldwide in honor of our worldwide handsome RJ. You can find the terms and conditions in the description box below, so please make sure to read those carefully before entering. I swear every time I talk about RJ, the neighbors' dogs start barking. They know what's up. I love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care, wear a mask, stay indoors, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!